Welcome, Matt, to Road Talk with Gary. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I am all good.
Matt, whereabouts are you in the world?
Currently in the south of France, in a small port called San Rafael, in between Nice and Cannes.
Oh, very lovely. How long have you been out there?
We made our way back on the boat from Greece at the end of October, so we've been here since the 2nd of November. So we spent 5 days at sea, heading back up this way, and this is our final resting place for the winter.
And before we delve in more about your life as a yachty, there's a big game tonight.
There is a massive game tonight, and the problem is I'm half Welsh, so...
I did think that both, that you had, English and Welsh roots.
Yeah, so the family WhatsApp group's going off on one because, well, I'm staying quiet because it's just a hard game to watch. I do think England will pick Wales, but both teams aren't looking like they're going to win anything, so it's just football at the end of the day.
So where's the Welsh to English connection? Mum, Dad?
Mum's Welsh and Dad's English. And then they met in Wales when my dad moved there. So
you must have a slight allegiance to one over the other. So who is it with that?
Well, I was born in Yorkshire, so it is England. Yeah. I just keep my mum happy by saying, "Oh, come on then, let's get the Welsh going."
Can you speak any Welsh?
I could say the longest word in the longest village, which is in Anglesey, and a bit of bravado and nostar, which is good morning and good night, but that's it. My granddad didn't speak English until he was in his 20s. His brother was a fluent Welshman, and he was a famous farm owner in mid Wales. So he had a TV show about him and stuff. So they were very, very, but that's all been lost since my mum and dad moved to Leeds.
So I think it's England you're rooting for tonight, but very
100%. Yeah. But I've got a soft spot for Wales, but it's England all the way for me.
At your peril, Matt. At your peril. So, Matt, we've known each other now, is it 5-6 years?
It's 2015, I think. So probably coming up towards 8, I'd say 7.
8, yeah. So it's been, time goes quickly, especially as you get older.
Yes.
At age. And known each other primarily through football. And through that, and we've become very good friends. Well, I see you as a very good friend.
Likewise.
And you have very much a huge heart for men's well-being. Particularly, you've had your own journey, and you've also been a counsellor for many other guys as well. And whilst I've known you on land, your industry is in the sea, out in the sea, in the yachting. And an unorthodox route, how you got in there. So what I'd like to do, Matt, is lay your journey into the yachting industry and how you personally found working as a yachty, the good, the bad, and the different.
Okay, so yeah, I left school at the age of 16, not very academic. I was the kind of kid who would sit in class and stare out the window, and then that would get recognised, and I'd have to be sat put at the front of class because I couldn't hold my attention span. So I left school at 16. Wanted to be a pilot. Didn't have the academic side of me to go to college, A-levels, university. So I found my way into mechanics. I did an apprenticeship at BMW, and I spent 5 years there fixing cars, whilst doing a bit of sailing in the background with a family friend in Mallorca. And he kind of put it to me. He said, "Listen, you're going to be fixing cars for the rest of your life, or do you want to go sailing, see the world?"
Hard choice,
but also, I was living with mum and dad still, and couldn't afford to buy my own house, or I was using my mum and dad's car. Couldn't really see a way out financially either. So I had very little savings, and took that big step of quitting this solid job and took up a passion of sailing. Didn't realise that the industry was there to start with. Excuse me. Until I crossed the Atlantic on a little 12-meter, started on small sailing boats, and then arrived one day in Corsica, saw these boats, and arrived in Monaco, and I was like, wow, this is another level. And that was back in 2006. And then, 16 years later, worked my way up the ladder as engineer, as deck, and now I'm driving one of them. So, I say driving. I'm quite modest with that. Like people say I am a captain, but I just I love driving them. That's what I'm here to do. I like driving, traveling, parking them. I like challenges. And yeah, that's been an interesting journey, really, in all aspects. You put through so many different extreme challenges that you can't call this industry normal in any way, positive or negative. Extreme. The things that are thrown upon you are quite extreme, good and bad, I would say. Yeah.
Somebody told me last week who over 30 years in the yacht industry, and they said there are no rules. Yeah, there's some rules, but rules that you expect in a normal organisation or normal corporate world or everyday life to apply in the yacht industry is, like you said, but you cannot compare.
They don't. It's strange. Contracts are, like work contracts are interesting. You've got notice periods on there and stuff, but if that owner or if that captain doesn't like you could pretty much have your bags on the dock that afternoon. And I've seen it this year. It's quite volatile. It's unpredictable. I'm also in a situation, our personal situation with this boat, which is testing my patience for my future, my career. I won't go into it too much.
Sure.
But there's a lot of unpredictability about the industry. It doesn't matter what position you're in, how long you've been in the industry, what angle you're coming from. It can change by the minute. And that is all governed by money and personalities, I would say.
Personalities
Personalities of owners, personalities of people who are in charge, who make the decisions, who make those last minute decisions. Create unpredictability for yourself and the people around you, which adds fun to the job because it's not going to an office, doing the same thing 9 to 5 every single day. It's we'll wonder what we're doing today. And that could mean, right, okay, we're moving the boat from here. The boss wants it in Mallorca for the weekend, or we're going to sell it and we need to have it in Turkey for the week. I'm just trying to give you an example there, but it's so unpredictable that it almost makes it fun. But then you get to a certain point in your life where you're like, okay, now I need more stability and more structure, that you need to know what's going on. And that's what's really quite hard about the industry, that it starts getting a little bit tiresome towards the end. Not towards the end, I don't know how long I'm going to be left in the industry running a boat for, but it's quite a challenge if you're trying to set up something for the future for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm struggling with now. So I've been in the industry since 2006. And I'm slowly trying to create those exit strategies so I don't have to rely on predicting what the owner's going to do, predicting what management's going to do, predicting where the boat's going to be. I'm trying to create an out for myself so this doesn't be my sole purpose at the moment. I'm not trying to put a negative spin on it because it's an awesome industry. It's absolutely incredible. The opportunities that people have for the places that people see, the places that people meet is truly incredible. But I do think there is a little bit of a price to pay sometimes for certain people with that.
So from what I'm hearing, Matt, is it not naturally compliant with family life? I know you've got a long-term partner. Yeah. So how does that work?
Again, it's incredible. Every single boat is completely different. Every single boat they all might look the same, but they all have their different challenges. So yeah, as you know, Danielle, we are together. We've been together for 12 years. We met in the yachting industry. She spent 10 years in boats, on working on boats as stewardess. And she wanted to get out because we were both pretty burnt out running a charter boat. And so we put things in place where we could do that. We set up a base back in the UK, in Yorkshire, set up a bit of a property portfolio, and now she's got an interior design company, which is actually going pretty well. So she's going really well, but now she's focused on that. I'm focused on boats. So it's really important to remember where we've both come from, how we both know each other beforehand, because it's almost like we're doing two separate things now, but we come back to meet. You really have to work hard at that, because it in my circumstance, I'm on a rotation situation. So I'm 2 months here, 2 months away. So I can see light at the end of the tunnel, but there's certain situations where you might be cruising around Greece for the summer and you're in a house in Mallorca on another boat doing something. Those relationships can break down quite quickly. So it's really hard to kind of transition and have a normal kind of life, normal relationship. Everyone in the world normally, not yachting related, majority of people, they find a partner, they settle in together, they get married, they have kids, they pay the house mortgage off, and they have a pension. And that is pretty much it. Whereas this industry, it's, like I said, you don't know what you're doing the next day. So what's the word? Forgot the word, isn't it? The unpredictability of the industry puts a real strain on trying to create that family environment, that friend environment.
So I imagine it starts off, you started as a young man, left the mechanic industry, went into yachting, and it's exciting, like it opened a different world to you, different opportunity. So it's ideal for somebody who started out single, good money. Don't know about the finances.
Yeah.
Money. But the opportunity is almost second to none, especially at someone so young.
Yeah. The money is, I went from living with mum and dad, earning, what was I coming out with after the British government taxed me? I was coming out with about £1,050 a month as a qualified BMW mechanic at the age of 21.
Yeah.
And then to come out to boats, to have a chef cooking for you full time, to have your toiletries paid for, to be getting paid as a seafarer, so you get a deduction in your taxes. You're then saving that pot up quite quickly. You're also working quite hard. So when there's regulations involved now and everything, but back in the day, it still happens now. I was doing 18 hours a day, no contract, earning this money, working my socks off and having no time to spend it. So when you did spend it, you'd almost want to party hard or buy the things you've always wanted and things. So it's an exciting industry because you rock up somewhere, you explore it with no question about what things are going to cost. Well, I did anyway. So to start with, it's amazing, and it still is amazing. For me to try and think of what I would do going back to the UK. Obviously I've got exit strategies now that I'm building, but let's go back to a 9 to 5. Yachting suits a certain type of person, and I feel like this might, I don't know whether I'm talking out of context here, but it suits people who are on the spectrum of maybe some type of mental health in a way, because I can't sit behind a laptop. I can't, my feet are twitching now. I struggle to sit still. I struggle to do the admin on the boat, but you put me in 30 knots of wind trying to park the boat, I go into a trance and get the job done. So active people who are, outgoing, people who like to communicate. This industry is incredible for that. And that's what can kind of separate the people a little bit. People might think it's a cool way to earn money, see the world, but there's a lot of crap that you've got to put up with in the meantime. And that's why it doesn't suit everybody.
So people who are naturally more, I'll say the key difference between you and I, Matt, is you're naturally more outdoor than I am. Aside from playing football, you're mountain climbing, you always do exercise, you're running, when I think of you, you're continually, whatever you're doing is outside.
Yeah.
The majority of my time, as you said, behind the laptop, and speaking with people, so this contrast is very clear.
Yeah. That's why it suits the industry, suits certain people in the industry. Like when I'm trying to do the accounts for the month, I'm like a caged animal in the bridge. I not to look outside. Trying to focus. But with that comes, it's okay because you can take a breather from it. There's no guests on the boat at the moment, so you can actually go outside if you want to, pick up some tools, do a bit of a wash down. But when you're in the middle of summer and you've got 4 crew, 10 crew, 8 crew on board and your only safe haven is your cabin, and you're probably sharing that cabin with someone, that can be really quite tricky. You feel really trapped. That's the problem with the industry, is that the bravado and always having to look okay, always having to feel okay. So much banter going on, having to perform in front of guests, trying to act in front of guests to say that everything's okay. They're on holiday, they're paying for charter. You've got to be on your A game 24/7, no matter what's going on behind the scenes, personally or with crew, because it's a minefield. You're putting people in a white plastic box together for a summer. You're going to feel quite trapped.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a release of some sort.
And I'm sure that due to different personalities, you're not always going to get on with everyone all the time. So you then got that close proximity with somebody you potentially don't like or even can't stand.
It literally is. So, there's toleration, and then there's actually, okay, I'm really struggling to be around this person, and that can send you crazy. That can really get you down. And it is. There's not many boats that I know that run so perfectly like that. There's always a hiccup. There's always an issue. It might be the owner that you don't like, the person who's paying your wages, that you're here to look after, to run his boat. You could absolutely detest that, but you've got no choice because you don't see a way out. Sometimes that's your job for the summer. Yeah.
And Matt, it's a dark secret with regards to the drugs that's associated with the yacht industry. Is that just part of the territory, like footballers to the drinking culture? Is it that's the escape that you're speaking about with regards to close proximity away from family, friends, and peace?
I think it's habit, peer pressure, money. My drug is getting outside on top of a mountain and sitting on top of a mountain. Other people, we've just finished a charter, we've just got a massive tip, and let's go for a couple of drinks. And one drink turns into, I haven't had a cigarette for a while, let's have a cigarette. Next thing you know, there's people doing certain substances. I mean, I've never been like that. I've kicked charter guests off because of that, so I'm dead against it, because I don't think you should have to go down that route. But I think people are very easily led on. So I might be sounding really naive here, but whether there's people around me who do that, carry on, and they hide it from me because I'm so passionate about not experiencing it and not being around people like that, then I don't see it as much as what I've heard about. I hear a lot about it, and I see a few consequences. But yeah, it's not. I don't really know how to comment on that. I say drinking's quite a big issue. Then drugs.
When you say drugs, we're talking Class A drugs.
Yeah, Class A drugs, I would say, yeah. Lots of people, there's the odd people are smoking cannabis here and there. I mean, to be honest, that doesn't really bother me too much. People can do that, but it's the Class A substances that are causing problems. And the other thing is it's all unregulated. So you could have an owner or a charter guest who bring it on board and they're carrying on like that, and things become the norm. So you think, well, if they're doing it, I might as well do it. But I haven't seen a huge amount myself, just because I don't associate with people like that. And I try not to anyway. So, or I turn a blind eye to it because it's something I would not want to get involved. But I do know it's an issue.
And this may sound a bit naive. Matt, what support structures in place for somebody who's struggling with drugs? They've clearly got an addiction. Is there a governing body? Is there a support system? Is there a HR? Where do they go?
It's at the moment there's a few parties out there, but it's only the last couple of years that I feel like it's started to come to the forefront of being recognised. So there's yourself and there's a couple of other people out there, but it's not. It's not common knowledge, I don't think. I think the other problem is just going back to it. So if you are in a circle of doing drugs and alcohol, don't get me wrong, everybody loves to go out for a couple of beers after a charter and stuff, and I've got nothing against that because I do it myself. But if you're in a circle that there's a lot of people doing it, then maybe you don't see that there is a problem there and you're just kind of going down a spiral, or you think it's the norm. The other thing is because it's so illegal that you wouldn't really want to be telling certain people on board in case you lose your job. So I think everybody is very, very closed about that. So to try and find there isn't a huge network out there to talk about this at this moment in time, I would say.
And I'm assuming, by the way, you're sharing that something you would like to see change within the industry, or growing, at least increase awareness.
Yeah, massively. Not just with regards to drugs and drinking. I think it's to do with everybody's mental health. I've been to speak to people in Palma before, and I think having a release, having someone anonymous to talk to who's not going to relay any information to anybody else, because the industry is such a close industry that you pull into port, you're always going to know somebody, or you meet somebody, oh yeah, know them. You don't want people knowing your personal business. So probably why general crew don't talk about it, because the word travels fast in this industry, especially with social media sites and things. Somebody does something wrong straight away and it's out there. So I think people are more reserved for that purpose, and I don't think that helps. It'd be great to see it change. I think what you're doing with football is a great way to get people involved and slowly bring in that it's actually okay to talk about it. I think that's the first thing. I think maybe it's getting people to talk about the situation instead of feeling that they've got to go to somebody straight away, because I think that's almost like a second stage. If they're comfortable about maybe even just talking to somebody next door to them about a situation that they have, then they can pluck the courage up. And it shouldn't have to be about courage, but think about talking to an external source. Like we talked before, there's so much bravado on board, and there's so much peer pressure that people don't open up, and people are asking the wrong questions. So if you feel trapped in that way, that you can't talk to anybody, that's the sad thing. You need to be able to look into your right and look into your left and look in front of the crewman's table when you're having lunch, or you're out for drinks, or you see someone struggling on the boat. You need to be picking up on that. So you need to be aware of people's moods. You don't want to just tell someone you're a moody bugger today. You need to be saying what's going on behind it. They've been moody for 2 or 3 days now. Something not right. What they're struggling with. Because if you don't, then it can end up very bad. I don't know if what you've seen in the news recently about the young lads. Yeah. So that, I don't know anything about that. I don't know the story behind that, but for him to do that without anybody knowing is the saddest thing, that he's got nobody to talk to. That's what makes me sad. Like what you said at the beginning, I've cancelled some men about. I haven't. All I've done is I've talked to them and asked them how they are. That's all you need to do. It's about opening up, and not just for men, but for women. Be that man, be the stronger man, be the better man, be the better woman, and ask the person next door how are they, because that could save someone's life. As simple as that. It could save somebody's life, because man, it makes me feel emotional now, but if somebody had said to him, how are you, mate? What's wrong? He might have had a cry and opened up, and that person he was talking to might have said, right, how are we going to battle this? What if you didn't have that? What if the person who is listening to this now doesn't have that? What if you're listening to this now and you're thinking, I know that person I'm working with has got a slight issue. Maybe I should approach them in a different way and ask them how they are. it's the basic fundamentals of mental health, isn't it? In my opinion. And then you go, right, how are we going to battle it? Let's go talk to Gary. Let's go talk to so-and-so. Let's try and identify these issues and then work back to making yourself a better person.
It's Matt, I'm staring inside as you were shit. Think of that slowly space that, I'm sure we found ourselves in at one stage or another where you feel completely alone in the world and there's nobody you feel trust to turn to or feel safe.
Yeah.
And those three simple key words that I know speak on your heart. How are you?
Yeah.
With a sincerity, I'm generally interested in you. How are you?
The three could be the three most important life-saving words you put together for someone.
Yeah.
Ever. No, I'm a mentally strong person. I mean, like looking on the positive side of everything. If there's a problem, there's a solution, right? But I have my days when I'm like, okay, I'm feeling crap, but I can pick myself out of it and go, right, sort yourself out, go for a run, then do something that is going to kick your brain into another gear. Whereas some people probably don't have that, or they don't have the mechanism to sort themselves out. So, like, if someone like you or a professional can help people put the mechanism or put that strategy in place to get them out of that situation, then that's a good thing. So not only just how are you, but like, okay, how are you? What's that click? What can get me out of this dark cycle and get out there? And maybe like running is a big thing for me. So chasing a ball is my favorite thing. Love football, but to get out and run, I really struggle with it because I'm like, why am I running? I'm just running along. I can see where I'm running to. I don't want to do it. But when I get angry, when I get upset, when I'm struggling with somebody, if I'm angry inside, excuse me, or frustrated, running is my method of release. And even if it's every footstep and breath I'm going, I hate you. Then it almost kind of releases it. And that's why football is so good, because you're going for a heavy challenge, you're getting rid of this energy, you're having a laugh with your mates. So I think activity's a big thing. But the crazy thing is the industry is so active. We are constantly on our feet, whether you're inside, you're outside, you're constantly active, but you're doing it for a job. You're getting paid for it. And it's not the same as going for a run, going playing football, going skiing, going cycling. Yeah, so keep yourself active and asking the person next to you, how are you? Are probably the two most important things I would find. I'd say, actually.
Wise word, Matty, wise words. Unfortunately, we're coming to the end. I guess I'll speak to you today and I'll definitely be inviting you back. Matty, I'd like you to look back at the Matty, 16 years of age, entering into the industry. What advice or support would you give to somebody that is at that stage, 16 to 18, a young man who's been offered the opportunity to work within the yachting industry?
Okay, so so I was 21 16 years ago. So if you're between, so 18 to 20 and you're coming into the industry, don't believe the social media hype of the beautiful locations, etc. But I would say it's very easy to be misguided with that because, you will be rewarded. But I would say have a goal, have a financial plan, and have an exit. And on that journey that you're going to do is you're going to see some cool places. You're going to meet some amazing people, but just remember why you're doing it and why you're here. If you've got that aim, you've got that goal, if you've got that achievement that you want to achieve, stick with that and remember why you're there. Don't get dragged down the rabbit hole.
Have a goal, have a financial plan, and have an exit strategy. And most importantly, remember your why. Remember why you're there. Remember why you're doing it.
100% why. That exit strategy could be 30 years long.
Yeah.
As long as you've got an idea. My plan was 3 to 5 years. I'm 38 now, and I'm going into my 17th year. And, I still love it. Parts of it. So
Matt, thank you so much. Just before we go, we had the recent football match, which we spoke about before the show started. Can you just explain your position with the Street Angels and the Yachties?
I'm a Yachty, but I'm also a member of the Street Angels. So,
Not just a member, can you explain your role with the Street Angels?
yeah, I'm a major representative of them. That's all I'm going to say. But no, it's a hard one, Gary. We are friends. So, and all my Street Angels did the part, but I'm a Yachty. And if I'd have played in that game the other week, I'd have got grief from both ends. So I might have to be a referee next time. I might have to hang my boots up
as a ref.
Yeah, I would. I might have to toss a coin then next time. And that's the only way I can play. But because my allegiance is both sides. So I'm sorry about that, Gary.
Matt alias Judas for both sides.
That's it. That's me.
So Matt, super. Once again, thank you for coming on board.
Yeah, it's been good to talk to you again, and a very valuable subject, in my opinion. So keep up the good work, Gary.
Will do. Thanks for your hard work, for your contribution.